Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Product Management Bootcamp information session. It's called the 21-week Product Management Career Bootcamp. We are going to kick off the event here in just a couple minutes. Before I do, I usually just like to make sure everybody can see me okay, everybody can hear me okay. Maybe let me know in the chat. You can give me a little thumbs up or anything, or a hello, or a yes, we can hear you, Tyler. Yes, all is well. Amazing, can hear. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, guys. So that is where the chat is in the bottom right corner of the screen. While I'm kind of covering that, actually, before I even dive into anything, I'm going to first start off by saying I apologize. I have been a little bit under the weather this week, and I do have a little bit of a cold. So if you can hear it in my voice at all, if I have to mute at any time to cough quickly, I do apologize. I think it's going around pretty aggressively for lots of folks right now. So I know most of my friends have been sick in the last couple of weeks here. So yeah, if I sound nasally or a little congested or anything at all, I do apologize. But at the bottom right corner is where the chat tab is. Beside that, there is a questions tab down there. And what we are going to do, myself and the guest speaker are going to loop back at the end of today's presentation. And we're going to answer any sort of questions that you guys have that you've put in there. It can be about the industry. It can be for the speaker directly, for me. It can be about the course. It can be about anything there. So far, radio voice. So I appreciate. Thank you. Feel free to use the questions tab. But if you do add a question in there and we don't answer it right away, we're doing it with the goal that we're going to loop back at the end and kind of do some group Q&A together there. So don't be discouraged if you put it in. I promise we're not ignoring it. Otherwise, you can use the chat tab to interact with myself, the speaker, with each other throughout the event. And then there's people there. That just shows the people. I'm not sure if you guys can see the links tab. I think you can. On my side, I have a links tab. If you do, there's some course links in there, but I will share them in the form of a pop-up on the screen later for you guys. So you'll be able to just click it and check out the course pages there. And I should mention as well, this full event is going to be recorded. So anybody who's interested in the stats that are shared on the slides, if you're looking to basically take down any of the information that we are talking about or presenting today, you're welcome to. You're also welcome to sit back and relax, and you will get a full recording of this event after it's concluded today. You should get an automatic email recording for that. So I can go ahead and kick this off. Maybe I'll invite everyone to share where they are joining us from today. I'm originally from Niagara Falls, Ontario. I lived in British Columbia in a really small town for a few years, actually almost 8 years. And now I live in downtown Calgary. So that's where our company is founded from here. I see Kitchener on the side. Where else were you guys from? Feel free to share it in the chat here. Toronto, Kitchener. Amazing. Hamilton, Brampton. I've been to all of these places. Toronto, Markham, Montreal. Nice, nice, nice. Well, welcome, guys. Thanks for joining the session here. I'll repeat some of that stuff I just said a little bit later on in case anyone kind of comes in over the next few minutes here. Maybe feel free to share in the chat as well why you're joining today's session. Are you interested about product management? Are you interested about courses in product management? Are you just looking to learn more? So feel free to share some of that, some of the reasons in the chat there, why you're joining us here today. And while you do that, I will go ahead and I will get the presentation queued up here. So put this over here. And you know what? I'll share the links to the courses in the chat here for everyone as well. Looking to learn more about the programs, want to transition into product management. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm hoping these will send both of these links at once. There we go. Yeah. So there's the course links, guys. We're going to be chatting about these courses, or this course, I should say, 2 links, 1 course today. But I will share these again later in the chat too. Like I said, I'll have some pop-ups so you can click and go right to the site. But just in case anyone's wanting to click and take a look now while I'm presenting, that is those are the links there. Transition from project to product management, and if it's possible. It is absolutely possible. We know lots of folks who have done that. So welcome. Well, happy to hear the reasons why you guys are here. This is great. So what just happened there? Ooh. Can y'all hear me right now? I disappeared. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera feed. I am now invisible, and it sounds distant. Okay, let me fix this, guys. Sorry. I have become a ghost. Give me one quick second here, folks. Sorry. Okay, so the sound should be fixed now, I think. Sound is back. Yay. I'm still a ghost though. I don't know why. I'm going to unplug my camera and plug it back in here quick and see if that fixes it. Possibility that my camera just outright died in the middle of this session. Okay, what is happening here? I'm so sorry, folks. I'm not quite sure what's happening with the technical difficulties right now, but I am working it out. I'm going to figure out the camera situation here now. What is going on? What is going on? There we go. I think. Can y'all see me and hear me okay again? I'm back. All right. I have no idea what just happened. As we know, technology likes to do this sometimes, and usually right in the middle of a presentation when I've got people watching me. So thank you, folks. My apologies. We're going to hope that doesn't happen again. I'm trying really hard not to hit any cords in case something's loose there. But so we will jump into the presentation here. All right. I can start off by introducing myself. So my name is Tyler Trapp. I am the event host for today, but I'm also the marketing event manager at CircuitStream. Before I got into this industry, into education technology, I actually worked in travel and tourism for over 10 years. Very different industry, but COVID, as it did for many people, kind of shifted my trajectory in a little bit of a different direction. So, and I'm very happy that it did, actually. It was one of the few positives that came out of COVID for me. We will also have a guest speaker. You don't have to come up yet, Amandeep. I'm going to invite you up in a few minutes, but he was a project management student, bootcamp student of ours. And I'm just going to ask him some questions about his experience in the course and kind of what he is up to now. And yeah, so I'll invite him up in just a few minutes. I'll start off here by sharing a little bit about us at CircuitStream. So we began in 2015 through a network of developers, designers, and creators. And we are now a leading provider of technology learning in different areas like AR, VR, game development and design, product management, software development. We also more recently have started doing youth courses. So last year we ran pre-university courses for teens between the ages of 13 to 18. We're now going to be introducing courses for students even earlier than that, younger ages, I should say. So if anybody knows of any little ones who are kind of interested in getting started, or any parents who are looking to get their kids, their teens involved in some courses early over the summer, for example, feel free to reach out. We've got some really cool options there. And our catalog just grew, I think, by about 6 or 7 courses just from last year to this year. Some really cool ones in there, like financing and like managing your money, things that I wish I would have learned when I was a teen. So okay, and then on the screen there too, yeah, sorry, that's some of our partners. You can see our some of our corporate partners and then our university partners there on the right. So why launch a career in product management? I just said project a minute ago. Now that's going to keep happening. A product manager is an interdisciplinary position that collaborates with different departments to guarantee the success of a new product. Product managers have a dynamic career with opportunities to shape innovative products and have measurable impact on a company's success. On screen, you can see some of the top reasons why people would choose to work as product managers. And again, if anybody just popped into this session in the last couple minutes, this full thing will be recorded and sent out to everybody at the end. So if there's any slides with stats or just information, or if, conversationally, if we say something that you're interested in, you will be able to go back and see this recording afterwards. So. For the Canadian product management industry, according to product management skills, acquiring product management skills in Canada positions individuals to excel in a variety of industries and contribute to economic growth. With rapidly growing technology sectors and thriving startup ecosystems in cities like Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and Waterloo, product managers play a vital role in driving innovation and ensuring companies deliver products that meet market needs. According to LinkedIn, this is a specific Ontario stat here, but in Ontario alone, there are currently over 700 job postings for product management positions, which is crazy. There are many different titles that product managers are hired for, including product strategists, growth product managers, and product marketers. So usually when people are getting launched into the industry after they've taken a course, boot camp, whatever the case may be, we usually recommend that they do broaden their search a little bit beyond just looking for jobs that are titled product managers, because the reality is there's a bunch of different titles within that realm. And then even beyond what I'm showing on screen, there's, or what I've just mentioned, product strategists, growth product managers, product marketers. There's a bunch of different careers that wouldn't even be labeled those, where your skill sets would be transferable to. So yeah, just think a little bit outside the box when you're doing your initial career hunting after you've taken a course. The average salary for a product manager currently in Canada is at $109,000, and this is according to Glassdoor. Now, about the bootcamp specifically, our hands-on 21-week product management bootcamp is both online and project-based. It has 5 hours of live classes per week, 2.5 hours of technical biweekly career labs, and 10 hours of independent study. There are weekly assignments, in-class challenges, portfolio projects, and students complete the course with a capstone project at the end. This bootcamp is designed for those interested in learning the essential practices of product management, from strategic planning and feature development to agile execution. This program's comprehensive curriculum is designed to provide a full spectrum of understanding for the product lifecycle, ensuring that you are adept at guiding products from their initial conception all the way to market dominance. Product management is a great career opportunity with lots of growth potential. This is why we've collaborated with McGill and the University of Toronto to offer this hands-on 21-week bootcamp that will take you all the way from a beginner to launching a career in product. That's a little bit about us there, about the course. Now for the course outcomes, our bootcamp graduates emerge with a comprehensive set of skills that prepares them for success. Through in-depth modules like product management foundations, students gain a solid understanding of the roles and responsibilities, how they navigate product development stages, and how they use data to inform strategic decisions. Graduates are also educated on market insights and product strategy, feature ideation and development, agile execution and team dynamics, product positioning and growth, and data mastery and decision-making. And students receive career development support, and they complete the bootcamp with a project manager certification from CircuitStream, and then also co-branded depending on the university partner that you went through. So if it was the University of Toronto or McGill, you can see there would be the corresponding logos on the badges there for that. So you can put these on like your LinkedIn profile and your resumes, things like that, to show people that you are certified as a product manager. And then I mentioned career development. So speaking of that, I'm going to share some of the information on our career development piece that we offer through the boot camps. Our career labs teach students how to leverage technical and behavioral strengths, gain awareness of the digital ecosystem, create compelling portfolios, elevate digital presence, learn how to network effectively, and become interview ready for industry jobs. Our career and networking support really helps set our program apart from any others that you may find out there that look similar. Every student that comes to us has different objectives when they come in the door. But for those who are looking for new jobs, or for those who are looking to improve their current positions, they find this aspect of the course incredibly helpful. So just a little bit on our career development. As a part of the career support as well, we also offer a student pitch day at the end of the program. In this, students have the opportunity to showcase their capstone projects to hiring and industry partners. This event is an amazing way to add people to your network, to be considered for any job openings that they may have, or just to receive feedback on your projects from hiring managers and just from professionals who are currently working in the industry. We also run AMA sessions throughout the courses where we invite industry professionals in to also provide kind of guidance and feedback. So you're not just getting it at the end when you're, very important at that stage when you're looking for career opportunities. But we also find it valuable to bring in some industry professionals throughout the duration of the course, so that students have the opportunity to learn from them throughout the course, not just at the end there too. So, and our instructors are also industry professionals, I guess. So there's that. And then here's some examples of hiring partners that we have for our product management bootcamp who may be attending the upcoming pitch days that we have. You can also expect to see some of these partners in those exclusive AMA sessions, the Ask Me Anything sessions that I just mentioned a minute ago. And yeah, that's kind of it for the initial opening here. Without further ado, I am going to go ahead and invite Amandeep up on stage, and we can start the presentation. I'll ask him some questions about his experience in the course here. So whenever you're ready, Amandeep, feel free to pop on up.
All right. Can you see me and hear me?
We can. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So I'm going to, just a forewarning, I'm going to make your screen big, Amandeep.
Sounds good. Thank you.
It doesn't shock you in it. Yeah. So amazing. All right. I can jump right in here and start asking you some of these questions here.
Sure. Yeah.
And Cynthia, I see that you've got a question that you threw into the chat. If you don't mind, Cynthia, maybe copy and paste that and throw it into the questions tab. And then once Amandeep and I are done doing this version of Q&A, we're going to flip it over and do some audience Q&A, and we'll make sure that we answer that question for you too. And if not, I mean, I'll remember there's one in the chat and I'll try and go back and find it. But if you can, copy and paste it into the questions there for me. All right. So Amandeep, first question for you that I have is how did you choose this specific boot camp? Did you look at any other options? Basically, how did you end up in the boot camp?
Sure. Yeah. How did I choose it? I'd say it chose me. And I say that because I wanted to do something in product. So I come from a product field, but I wanted to do something formal, have an education or like a certification or something. So as you know, Google tracks everything when you're doing searches, you're looking for courses out there on Google. I came across this on LinkedIn. I think it was Facebook, either one of these. And I was like, okay, let me check this out. It was something new. It was not there before. It's his first time boot camp by CircuitStream, University of Toronto. So I go, I'll check it out and see what this is about. So it actually chose me. And then I found it interesting when I see it on your website, because this was the first time ever. And I consider myself an early adopter. I love taking risks. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna jump in and see what this is about. And when I saw the course description, the instructor, I saw the university, it's linked to University of Toronto as well. I'm based in Toronto. And I saw there are live working sessions on different kind of tools, such as Figma and such. I'm like, this is really interesting, because that is actually what product management is all about. So that went into my decision making of actually choosing it from CircuitStream. One of the factors that I considered was that it's linked to University of Toronto, and I see that it's now linked to a different university also, which is really cool.
Yeah, we're connected with McGill on this program as well now.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
actually connected with McGill on a few of our programs, but they just took on the product management one too, which is amazing. McGill's
I think
an
it must have
amazing
happened after I
university.
joined, because when I joined it was just University of Toronto. It wasn't McGill wasn't on the list. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was more of a recent development in the last month or two with McGill. So yeah, I
That is
think you're
good.
right
Good
there.
for CircuitStream and good for students too. They'll have the
Yeah,
option to choose.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it gives them options. Anywhere where we can provide a few different university partners for one of our courses, we try and do that too. So
Perfect. Yeah.
cool.
Hope that answered
All
the
right.
question.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So the next one here for you is what was your background before enrolling in the course? And did you have any prior experience in product management, or was this new for you?
I did. So before enrolling in the course, I worked with the big banks in the US and in Canada for almost 10 years. Um, I did not have the designation of the title of a product manager, but in a way, I held different positions like business analyst, QA analyst, and various other positions. So wearing different hats. But I was always interested in working on a product. And I see one of the questions also, it's a physical product or not. Product being any feature that you launch, right? That is in product management world, any feature, any little feature is a product, right? If it's a drop down, that's a product. So I was always interested in learning about the user side of things, what people think about something, and then how we can use insights or data to improve their experience, and then launch that into a version of product, which is basically a feature for the for the users. So having different titles, having different hats in various companies, it was mostly banking for me. But I wanted to do something formal, and I thought maybe I'll take a course that will eventually help me apply for a product manager title role, and that was one of the reasons why I chose this course also. So yes, I did have a little bit of product, not a little bit of, at least more than 5 years of product management experience.
Amazing. Amazing, amazing. And Gatha, I see that you just threw a question into the chat, just similar to what I had said before. If you don't mind, Gatha, just copy and paste that and throw it into the questions tab. And then in about 15, 20 minutes, maybe half hour or so, once we kind of finish up with our Q&A here, we're going to go over and do audience Q&A, and we'll answer anything that you guys throw in there. So again, if it's not in there, I'll try and come back to the chat and find it, but it'll be easier, and we'll make sure we don't miss it if you just copy and paste that into the questions there. So cool. All right. Thank you, Amandeep. The next one I've got for you here is how did you prepare yourself before you started taking the boot camp? Did you do any sort of reading or networking, or did you join any sort of communities or anything before you got into the course?
How did I prepare? So first thing I did was basically familiarize myself with every information that you have on your website. What is the course about? What can I expect at the end of the course? What kind of applications or softwares will be covered in the course? So when I'm sitting in a class, I'm not surprised that I don't know any of these. I consider myself, I'm always prepared for meetings or anything. So I love to be in meetings prepared. And so every class was sort of like a meeting for me. And so I knew what I'm expecting from the boot camp. I often read articles on LinkedIn or just Google, like what are the best practices of a product manager. So it's not something I only did before the start of the boot camp. It's a regular practice. I did it before. I do it right now also. But yes, I would highly suggest everyone to be familiarized with whatever information there is on the website. Read about the instructor. He's a great instructor, and have your questions prepared before the classes.
Amazing, amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me see what else we've got here for you. Oh yeah. So before you joined the boot camp, did you have a specific goal in mind, or something that you wanted to achieve, or was it just kind of product management overall, or what did that kind of look like?
Absolutely. No, the number one goal was to get a job. And I'm pretty sure all the others, all the 22 people we have on the call, they have the same goal. But no, number one goal was to have a job. And the second one was to advance my skills or to advance my knowledge on this topic. And I say this because when you're working in a company, you are sometimes siloed into specific domain that you're working on. So you don't get exposure on other areas that are out there on the product management as a vertical, right? So there's UX, there's technology, there's design, there's user interface, and so many different things. When you do a course, all of these things come together, right? You start connecting the dots. That is why I wanted to take this course. Thought maybe everything I know right now, it cannot be everything, right? And you always keep learning about things. So secondary goal was to improve my or advance my knowledge on the product itself. And then I saw there are applications covered also, right? There are live sessions which are held twice a month, I guess, which is a great way to learn something new, right? I did not know anything about Figma before, but then I joined this course. We took a class on Figma, and I love working on Figma, right? So if you are interested in doing something visuals or design specific, Figma is a great tool to learn. And when you are sitting with other students in the class, you can ask silly questions. It doesn't matter. It's your time. There's no, you can make mistakes and such. So that's a great way to learn new applications also. And that is one of the other reasons also why I was so interested in joining this course.
Awesome, awesome. I also love
Yeah.
Figma, and as a marketer, I use Figma quite a bit too. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's
No,
a great for a great
there are
company.
other applications covered as well. We did a little bit of SQL also. Again, a product manager doesn't actually have to use SQL, but if you know a little bit of basics, at least you know what SQL is about. It really helps, at least to build up your resume. If somebody asks in a interview question, you're not startled. So things like that come in handy when you are interviewing with companies.
Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, all right. So a couple goals, I guess. And then how has your experience been in the boot camp overall, or how was your experience in the boot camp, I should say?
Experience overall was good. It was amazing. It gets a little bit tiring because I was both students and working professionals are there in the boot camp. So specifically, if you are a working professional, it can be a little bit challenging to find out time. Sit in the evenings after 6 p.m. You're working until 5, and then 2.5 hours of classes. It can be a little bit overwhelming, but otherwise, when you are in the zone, it really helps. It's really cool because you are if you really like product management and you are enthusiastic about it, it's like you can talk about everything product related, right? And there are people out there, there are students, there are other students who come from similar domains. The experience is, it's more like a discussion. It's not like a instructor teaching you something and you're just sitting there taking notes and listening to them. It's more like a discussion where you are thrown into discussions, you're thrown into brainstorming sessions, which are really, really helpful. That lets you think out of the box, and create unique ideas that you can never think of before, right? And then there's assignments at the end of the day, which are really cool too. You don't really have to know anything before or in advance to do those assignments, because anything that is covered in the class, you can just literally take that knowledge and use it and then do the assignment. And when the assignments are graded, you're going to be like, wow, I actually learned this thing and I used it in my assignment and I was graded so well. That is the learning that you should be looking forward to. So my experience was really good. But yeah, you have to ration your time accordingly, and make sure that you are in the boot camps. I mean, of course there are recordings, but sitting live in a class is something different. So I would highly suggest everyone, if you take the course, go for the classes and don't be shy to ask questions or engage in yourself into discussions.
Absolutely. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. And that's usually advice I try and give people too, when they are signing up for any course, for any boot camp, especially because boot camps themselves are just the nature of them. They're a little bit more fast paced than traditional education. They start with very basic concepts, but they move to advanced concepts pretty quick. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I usually try and tell people just to, if you're going to do a boot camp, it's a different type of learning. It's a fast-paced learning. It gets you to the goal faster. But with that, you kind of have to bury your head down a little bit as you go through and really set your time commitments and, be willing to give up, I guess, a little bit more of your free time that you'd normally have for a short period of time for the longer goals, which is, that's why people love boot camps, I guess, too.
Definitely. 100% agree on that. Yeah, no,
Love
absolutely.
that. All right. So, what are some of the most valuable skills or knowledge that you gained from the boot camp? And I know you mentioned it before, but what are some of the tools that you used in the boot camp that you're using now?
Personally, for me, one of the most valuable things that I learned is so product management has a lot of different phases in it. But one thing that really struck me during the bootcamp is the product discovery side of things, right? So as I said, product is anything feature related, right? So anything that you will deliver to the user that will delight their day or that'll make them happy, right? So there are different phases in product management. For example, you can start with a discovery, you can build a strategy, then comes the execution where you work with the IT teams to build something. Marketing is another aspect of it. But particularly in all of these things, product discovery and strategy was something that I learned the most. And I think that is maybe it's just my interest, but that as a product manager comes in really handy when you're working because not every single time you know what you're going to build, right? So you have to discover something through different means, different strategies, and maybe you create a business case or you go out in the market and talk to people what they're looking for, or you already have something in hand and you want to improve something. How do you know what you want to improve, right? So that part that comes into the product discovery and strategy phase. That was the most interesting thing for me because there were a lot of business concepts that were covered there. And if you Google any of those business concepts, you'll see that a lot of other business schools, when you go do a business degree or something, they're covered in there also. So it's a very theoretical thing to learn, and you're gonna learn a lot of business concepts, and not all the time you're going to use them when you're on the job. But at least if you remember a few of them and you think, okay, this was something that I learned in the course and I can apply this in real time, you will find yourself immensely this that will help you immensely, and you'll find yourself that you could get to your goal faster as a product manager, right? So that is one of the things that I love the most about this course, product discovery and strategy. But then there are other things also covered that something like the execution, or how do you collaborate with other teams, because there are so many teams that you're interacting with, right? There's the business, there's product, there's sales, there's UX. There could be multiple teams under IT. So collaboration is another thing that was really interesting on how you collaborate and what can you expect when you're collaborating with different teams, right? That comes under execution and collaboration. But then, as I said, last but not least, the tools that we used, they were really helpful. We learned about Figma. I already mentioned. SQL mentioned. We learned about A/B testing, right? So A/B testing is something where you want to test something real time with users in the market and see what they feel about two different versions of the same product. It's really interesting. It just opens up your eyes. It's like, how did that happen, right? It could be as simple as changing colors. Should I go with black or should I go with gray, right? How do you choose that? You basically go with A/B testing and you find out through your users what they are most interested in looking at. Those kind of things will really open up your eyes when you're doing the course, and that'll make you start thinking like a product manager. That is also one of the questions I saw, like a project and a product manager, right? So that is one of the things that product managers do. They feel the user, they understand the pain points, they evaluate what the users want through different means, different strategies, and then they work on those things to build a feature. And that feature is ultimately, through collaboration and execution, is delivered to the user. And then you see whether the users were happy about it or not. That completes the loop. That's what product managers do. So that is something that was really handy when I was doing the course.
I love
Three
that.
three things that I learned the most. Yeah.
I love that, and I also deal in the world of A/B testing, and it's funny sometimes you put up tests against each other, and you think it's going to be so different, and then the test results aren't, and then you do another one where it's like something's just the slightest tweak, and you get
Yeah.
completely different results, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow, that
Yeah.
flipping that button from blue to black really made that big of a difference, like it's crazy. It's
Exactly. Exactly.
but
Yeah.
I use products myself every day, and I know how I enjoy the experience. So I get it. I understand why it's so impactful, but sometimes when you're doing it, you can't imagine that you're going to have such differing results when you do an A/B test, which I love. So
Exactly.
cool. Okay. What do we have for you here? Oh yeah. So how do the course materials and teaching methods align with real world product management practices?
I'm going to start with teaching practices first, because in the classes, you will see that we cover, there's a lot of, so there's theory part of it, and then there's the actual questions or real world questions, which are situational. Most of the time they are situational. So you'll be given a data set or something. It could be fictitious or it could be real time, and you'll be asked a couple questions on that. And it's not something to put you on the spot or something. It's not to test your intelligence or anything. It's just to test or to start make you start thinking like a product manager, right? And then you're sent off to your rooms. It could be in the same room, or it could be you could be paired with someone, and you're sent off the rooms for like 15-20 minutes. You look at the data, and then you look at the evidence or anything that is given, and then you start thinking in the lines of a product manager. If I was the product manager on this product, what would I do? And that is exactly what you do in the real world situation also, right? When you're on the job, you're given a project or a product or any feature, and you learn something, and then you are the company only wants you to deliver that thing. How do you deliver that? That is the thinking of a product manager. So that part would teach you a lot about thinking outside the box, using all those business practices that I spoke about, theory, practical things, and then you can brainstorm with other students on what is the best way forward. Is there a way we can measure it? And you are free to make mistakes, right? It's just it's a course. It's not real time. You're not launching an actual product. So that aligns with the real world really good, because it teaches you, and some of those features are actually real world features. Like we spoke about Facebook, we spoke about a lot of other things. Some of those could be fictitious also, but then the ultimate goal here is to make you start thinking like a product manager. And then apart from that, you combine everything you've learned on the theory side, feature strategy, how do you build a strategy? And then when you are brainstorming with your peers, you say, okay, we should use this kind of strategy to do this, which would improve this by this much, right? So you start connecting the dots on those theory parts that you learned with the actual real world situations, or the scenarios that will be given to you. And I'd say 90% of the time the assignments are also not 90, maybe less than a little bit of 90%, but the assignments are also mostly real world scenarios where you're given where you're asked to pick a company maybe, and work on it. You could pick your own company, not own company, you could pick one of your favorite companies, or you can make your company, and you say, okay, this is my product and I want to improve this, so I'm going to use this kind of methodology to implement this feature, and this is my target audience. And then you start thinking on the lines of how I'm going to deliver this. So this is where product marketing and growth comes in, right? So then you start, maybe you divide the work and say, okay, you create a product strategy for marketing, I would work on the execution and collaboration side of it, and then maybe a third person do a product discovery. This is exactly how real-time teams work, right? Not the one person is not responsible for all of those things. So this is how the classes, the course material that is covered, the assignments, the situational scenarios that are presented in the course, the brainstorming that you do with your peers, that really, really helps to get you start thinking like a product manager.
Love that. And I love to hear that too, because I mean, I don't build the courses, but when our team builds the courses, they are connecting with industry professionals and
Mhm.
trying to figure out the best ways to get the most current and accurate education for the students as possible. Not,
Yeah.
at no point do we want just fluffy text. We want like, actual real information that you're going to use in the real world. So I
Yeah.
love to
Yeah.
hear that feedback.
No, and your teams are great, because I remember this was the first boot camp that we attended. But then after every class, we were asked like, what's your feedback on this? So if there's anything that can be changed, right? So the course is not set in stone. If there's anything that adds more value, or if you want to learn more, you can definitely request. They will introduce you to the other moderators, and you can definitely request if you want that, and they will most likely bring that in the course also. So it's not like if this is the this is the curriculum that's going to be covered. It's the only thing that's going to be covered. If there's anything else, you guys can definitely request that, which is another, I felt that was a great aspect of this course.
Yeah, if it's something niche, they'll probably work on it with you. But if it's something
Yeah.
where they kind of see the value and you know what, other people in the class might find interest in this too, or I think this would be great to share. Like you said, they'll probably just bring that into the classroom setting and share it with you, even if it's not part of the curriculum, which is great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. So I love hearing that direct feedback from the students that we're doing that properly. And then how has this course helped you with networking?
To be honest, not much, because the course is not designed for networking. I'd be careful saying that, right? The instructor's great. You can use him as a tool for networking, and then there are other students in the class, but all of I mean, the entire class is not everybody comes from the product management field. So there's a scope of networking within your class and with the instructor, and then but there isn't too much scope outside this room that you are in, right? So one of the things that I did was I started marketing myself as a as someone who's pursuing this course on LinkedIn. And that is how the whole purpose of marketing myself was to increase the networking side of things, which is something I did on my own, right? And something that everybody who's going to be joining the course should do it too, because getting a job is just not applying for a job, but it's actually networking also. And the more you tell people that this is something that you are doing, because you love product management, or you want to grow in this field, or you want to learn about this field, the better it'll be in terms of marketing. So most of the marketing that I did was outside the realm of the class, and I just marketed myself on LinkedIn, also with my with my colleagues from the company. Started telling them I'm doing product management. If there are jobs in the company, I would love to explore those. And that's the best way of going forward when you want to do marketing, when you do want to do networking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a Discord community as well for all of our bootcamp students. And for programs that we've been running for years, like game development, game design, the network of folks that are in that is huge. For product, it is, we've had a few cohorts go through, like we said, we've just signed McGill up with it as well. So you might even find for yourself, Amandeep, that you'll be able to connect with more product managers as more cohorts go through in the chat. The Discord chat just becomes a little bit more busy. But that's kind of where we would lean into telling people the network is more so, like you said, like with your fellow students and with your instructor. And then you'll be able to kind of leap outside of your classroom. It's not physical walls because it's an online course, but you'll be able to leap outside of those walls and meet students from other cohorts as they're going through too. Yeah. And it's just kind of a cool support system that everybody gets as they go through. And we never boot you out, so you're welcome to stay in that Discord server for life too. So.
Yeah, which is great. I'm using it too. And one thing I forgot to mention, sorry to cut you off there. Capstone project is actually a great way of marketing too. Capstone project is basically when you are at the end of the course, you are presenting your project to external people, and some of them are product managers from different companies, and they are there to listen to you and to see what the product you have worked on. That is a great platform for marketing, networking. So you can reach out to them after the course is over, and that start some conversation, because now you have something to talk about, and hopefully they remember the presentation that you showed. So it actually depends, gives you some kind of motivation also to work on your presentation and the capstone project, because everything matters. Every little thing is it all depends, because these are product management is all about ideas, right? So any new idea or out of the box idea would spark somebody's interest. So that is a great platform for networking too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Present yourself the best way you can, and show everybody your skills the best way you can. Shadma, will this recording? Yeah, this whole session is going to be recorded and emailed out to everyone afterwards. So you're welcome to write down notes or, screenshot or do anything, but you'll get a full recording of this afterwards as well. So, okay, just a couple more questions here. So you mentioned earlier that your main goal was to find a career going through. Usually I'd ask like, what are your next steps? Are you looking at moving into, but I think you've already had some success there. So maybe kind of share with folks what you're doing now and how the course kind of assisted with that.
Sure. No. So when I was doing the course, I was working with BMO, Bank of Montreal, not as a product manager, more from an analyst perspective. Um, and then I started doing the course and started marketing myself as the upcoming product manager on LinkedIn, and basically used all my experience that I had before. And I had product experience before as well, not as a product manager, but as other hats that I wore, and basically just started applying for jobs mid course sometime, when I felt comfortable enough that I can apply for jobs and answer interview questions. I was like, okay, let's just start the process right away, right? And the end goal was to always get the job, which I did finally, right? So I am working as a product manager in Air Canada now. I actually got the job little bit before the course ended, about a week before I think the course ended, which was a great accomplishment for me. So pat my back. But no, the course helped me a lot too, because as I said, the fundamentals and the business practices that you learn in the course would prepare you to think like a product manager and answer those questions. The questions can be very, very simple. If you look at the questions, how do you design an app? How do you launch an app, right? How do you improve somebody's experience? How do you improve Uber Eats, for example? It's a very simple question, but from a product manager's perspective, it's a very difficult question to answer, right? So you have to think how you're going to start building up your business case, all of the things that you've studied. So now you're fresh out of this course, you remember all the business practices and principles you studied, you remember the applications you studied, how you can design something, how you can use SQL, how you can do A/B testing, heat map analysis, and such, and form your answers in such a way, right? So that is the thing that helps. People ask me, did this course help you get the job? The course helped me in a way because I remembered all those concepts, right? And then you frame your answers based on the concepts that you learned, and present your answer, right? So in product managers world, there's no right or wrong answer. It's how you think, right? And how you approach a problem. That's all. That's everything in product managers, right? So that helps. That actually helped me a lot. Also, I did a bunch of interviews with different companies. They asked me questions on similar lines, launching products. How do you understand user behavior, and things? So I it was fresh off. I remember all the concepts that I learned, so I could answer those questions, and that helped me get the job. So yeah.
Amazing. And I know I've said it to you before, but congrats again on that. It's
Thank you.
I love hearing the success too when it happens before you even complete the program. It actually happens quite often with our students, but it always makes me smile because it's just like, yeah, we're doing something right here. You're, what you're
Definitely.
presenting in the interview. Hopefully, we're helping with that during the course. But so yeah, so one final question for you, Amandeep, and then we can jump into the audience QA in just a minute here. But last question is, what advice would you give to somebody who's kind of interested in product management, but doesn't have any experience, or might be looking at taking a university course or a boot camp, or whatever the case may be? What sort of advice would you give to them?
So for someone who doesn't have any experience, product manager could be a hard job to get. Not impossible, hard job to get. And I say this because product managers' jobs are critical in any company. They are in charge of delivering the product, right? It could be as small as a drop down, or it could be as big as delivering an app, right? So,
Mhm.
and every single thing matters. There's a monetary aspect of it. So there's revenue, there's money spent. So every little thing matters. But not to discourage you guys at all. But having said that, it's not impossible, right? Um, I would suggest don't get fixated on the titles. Titles are commonly misled in the company, in the industry. A product manager could have a different kind of title as well. So I would say if you're already working, or if you want to start working in the product management field, try to align yourself towards the product management side of things. Try to work on things that will get you closer to being a product manager. Things would be something like doing user research, doing designing, delivering something. It could be anything, delivering something to the end user, right? End user could be an external user, internal user, anything of that sort. That would get you one step closer to getting a product manager role, right? Because that helps build your resume. You can show, I built this, I delivered this, I did user research, I did marketing, I interacted with clients, interacted with clients per se, as in to understand what they feel about the product and so on and so forth. So I would strongly suggest, if you don't have any experience, start doing that. Don't get fixated on titles. Titles are just they're not important. If you get a product management title, that is perfect, but doesn't matter. And then if you opt to go for this course, use the business concept that you learn in this, right? Use the situational questions that are presented to you, and start thinking in the lines of what you don't have to be a product manager to think in the lines of a product manager. Just start thinking, what would you do if you were a product manager, right? It's a course, nothing can go wrong. So use those as your platform, and leverage those to build your resume. And you keep building that resume and then start applying for jobs. People will see you doing things. People will see that you've delivered something. If you have delivered something, show the impact, right? That's the end goal of it, and that would get you closer to getting a job in product management.
I love that. Yeah, that's I tried to touch on that a little earlier in the presentation, just saying like don't look for just product manager roles, because it's it's just because the course is named that doesn't mean that all the career opportunities are going to be like you said, don't get hung up on titles. Yeah. It's and most people wouldn't, I guess, like if they're going through and they're looking for a job in product, they're not necessarily needing to be a product manager. They just kind of want to find a career. So it's but it's helpful for them to know, what other titles they could look for and where they could kind of search for that. So now that makes a ton of sense. So
sure.
All right. Well, thank you, Amandeep, for answering all my questions here that I've been firing at you.
You're welcome.
We are going to do some audience QA here in just a second. Before we do, I am going to share some quick information on our upcoming cohort dates, pricing. We've got a promotion in place for the bootcamp. And I'm going to do a quick poll here as well with you guys. So Amandeep, I'm going to move you over to the side. I'm going to bring this up back on the main part here. And I'm going to see if I can do this poll live with you guys here. So just give me 1 second here. It's a poll on this session here today. So let's see if it'll let me do it. There we go. It should be up in the top right corner there. So if you folks can see it, you should be able to interact with it right on the screen there. And the question is just on how would you rate your experience in today's information session on a scale from 1 to 10? This is strictly for myself. I'm just looking to always improve the sessions I do. And please don't note the technical difficulties I had at the beginning, because that wasn't part of the plan. But feel free to rate today's session up on in the top right corner there, and I can then move on to the next slide here as well. But there we go. Okay, I'm just gonna move that back over here for now. And then, like I said, I'm going to share the course pricing and the upcoming cohort dates for you guys. I'll start off with the pricing, if that's okay. So we have the regular price for this course is $10,500, but we do have an early bird registration discount in place right now. This would be available for, I guess, a couple more weeks until November 22nd, or until these seats are filled for this course, this cohort. And then we also do have payment plans available, finance plans over different periods of time. And those would also be applicable with the early bird discount that we have there. So that's a little bit on the pricing for the course. And then in terms of the upcoming dates, the next cohort that we have will run from February 11th through July 10th of 2025. So we are looking, basically, if you register now, you take a little bit of a break over the holidays, and then you'd be starting kind of fresh in the new year here at the beginning of Feb. So that's the upcoming cohort. And then in terms of contact information, if anybody here is looking to reach out to our team, if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out. You can reach out directly through Circuit Stream with that number in that email, or you can reach out through the University of Toronto or McGill using that contact information on screen there. And the enrollment advisors from all three of those would assist you guys and kind of answer any questions that you have. That can be as simple as, are there any seats left in the upcoming cohort, or more detailed, and what does the syllabus look like? What kind of core concepts do we cover? They can kind of give you all that sort of information and make sure you have a good understanding of what that would include. And that's it. That's it. So now we can do some audience Q&A here. I'll close off the presentation. And I think we've got a list of some questions in here. So let's just start at the bottom. Is a certification provided by CircuitStream or University of Toronto? So it's actually provided in combination with, we work with the university, whichever university partner it is, and the certification would be co-branded for you, half CircuitStream and then half through the university kind of thing. I'm a project manager from manufacturing industry. Is this course particularly for IT fields? I don't think so. I can let you kind of respond to that, Amandeep, because you went through the course overall, but the course doesn't focus specifically on IT fields, right?
No, it does not. No, it's it doesn't touch any field actually, just because it just covers all the concepts, right? So what product management is about. You might confuse it with IT fields because a lot of situational questions are based on IT, just because people love using apps and different features like that. So not everybody has a manufacturing experience, but no, it does not cover one particular field.
I didn't think. Perfect. Okay. Does product management, I'm going to keep saying project now because it pops up and now I'm going to confuse them. Does product management have to mean a physical product, or can it be project management? So it doesn't have to be a physical product, kind of like what Amandeep was saying before. It can be a drop-down menu. It can be anything. It's everything basically as a product. So yeah, I think we kind of touched on that one already, I guess there. I think you had actually referenced that one earlier. So this question is regarding IT field. Can you please tell me the difference between product ownership and product management? Will this course cover both or just product management? So the course focuses on product management. In full transparency, as somebody who's on the marketing team, I don't want to speak out of place in terms of a course specifically on product ownership and what the differentials might be there. Amandeep, do you have any sort of insight into that and what the difference would be between a product owner and a product manager?
I don't see any difference between the two. Product management is basically the field. It encompasses a lot of things, but as a product manager, you are in charge of the product, right? So you are basically owning that product from the company and driving it from inception to launch. So I don't see much difference unless you are coming from a specific example, but no, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like maybe a product owner would be above a product manager or something, but it sounds almost the same to me. So how is a product owner different from a product manager? It's the same question again. So we kind of just answered that one there. Hopefully that answered it for you. So how did you get your product manager role? I think you kind of already went over this. This question probably popped up a little bit earlier there because I know you kind of went in depth about what you were doing before and then how you utilized the education in the course to kind of get the role that you had there. And you did it before the end of the program. So yeah, Mayhawk, if you have any other questions about that or anything more specific, feel free to throw it in, but we likely already answered that one for you earlier there. Yeah, that question came in at 4:25, and I think we were talking about that afterwards. So,
okay.
How would it look? How would the career path look for someone without previous experience in product management before? I don't see ever entry-level positions. So I think this would kind of go back to what you were saying before, Amandeep. If you're looking just at product manager titles, you're probably going to be finding some postings that are looking for experience. Whereas if you broaden that a bit and you look for other roles within product overall and then work your way up to a product manager, that's probably the better way to do it there. can see you nodding, Amandeep.
Yep, and you can look for associate product managers too. Product manager is basically considered to be 4 to 5 years experience, but if you look at associate product manager, that would be, I would say, 1 to 2 years starting experience. So
Yeah,
that could work.
it's similar in most industries. Like we teach game development course, and sometimes people, when they're going into the industry, they're not hired as a game developer out the gate. They start in a slightly more junior title and then work their way towards something like that. So it's yeah, especially if you're coming with no previous background experience, it's kind of tougher to combine it. But if you have a bit of background experience like Amandeep did, you might qualify for something like product manager right away when you're going through a course like this too. So we need to know specific software, computer skills language prior to this course. No, I don't think. I mean, just being, you'd probably have to be computer literate overall, like be able to kind of like open and navigate through a laptop or a computer system.
Yeah.
But most of the software and everything you use starts at a pretty base level in the course. Hey.
Yeah, and you don't have to actually know any specific software to be a product manager. Again, it's just it's just how you think, approach problems. Softwares and all those things are they're irrelevant. You basically learn them on the job, and every company has different software, so it doesn't really matter.
And similar to the course, I guess, like it's
Yeah.
we would just use the software we use in the course, and you just learn it like on the fly as you're going through the course. But the cool thing is, it's similar like a coding language. Is once you've learned a bit of that, it's probably easier to transfer that after you get out into the real world too. So, okay, let's go through these. We've got a few more questions here. How much time do assignments take? That's a great question. Amandeep.
Yeah, good question. The longest it took me was almost 6 hours. So assignments are long. They're pretty lengthy, and they'll consume your weekends if you don't do them on time. Some of them are really easy, like 1 hour, but the longest one I took was almost 6.5 hours. That is not a bad thing because that lets you do a lot of homework, right? So you have to go research what you're doing. Chat GPT is not the answer, so just throwing it out there. But you can do any kind of research you guys want to do, and that actually takes time. And then putting it all together in a presentable format is also another skill that a product manager should have to communicate that message. That also takes time. So assignments are lengthy. Some assignments are really lengthy.
Yeah, I love to hear that, because it just means that we are making sure that the students have a full understanding of what we're trying to teach versus just, kind of glazing over it quick and letting them chat GPT it on the way out the door. So it can seem overwhelming, but it's also like if you're serious about wanting to move into any career, that's why people love boot camps. They move quick, and they can be intensified, but for an important reason. You learn so much. So
yeah, exactly.
Here's another one for you. What's an example of a typical assignment?
Typical assignment. Okay. Let's see. Think of a company that you maybe want to work for after the boot camp, and define a new feature for them. How would you do it, right? This is just basically something that I can just think of on the top of my mind. This lets you think how you research it. How would you do it, right? If you are, for example, if you're using Uber Eats, from a user perspective, Uber Eats is a perfect app. There's nothing missing in it, right? And what can you improve in Uber Eats? It's amazing, but a product manager does not think like that, right? Product manager is always looking for new features and improvements. So if you were to improve the delivery of Uber Eats, right, how would you do it? That's a typical assignment. You have to start doing research. You have to start putting that in a PRD, which is product requirements document. You have to present your case to maybe senior leaders. So you start doing a one pager. That also takes a lot of time. One pager is basically your ideation. And then you gather some numbers. Just create some hypothetical numbers, or if you can gather some numbers on the internet, you can do that too, and then put that all together. So this is just one example of how an assignment could look like. This kind of assignment will take a lot of time, right? This is a lengthy assignment. It could be as simple as, okay, what is the mission of Wealthsimple, for example, right? What do they want to do? This is the simplest assignment that can be accomplished in one hour. right? So you can get most of the information on their website. So this doesn't let you do a lot of research as a product manager, but actually start to make you think on how companies think of their missions and their objectives and goals and so on and so forth.
Cool.
So hope that answers.
Amazing. Oh yeah, absolutely. A couple good examples there. Okay, so for those new into the field, what is the employment rate after the boot camp? Oh God, I don't have stats on me right now, Cynthia. I'd have to connect you with the admissions team for things like that. Yeah, we have stats because we offer career support in all of our boot camps. We have stats, and I know the rates are usually pretty high, but I don't want to speak out of turn and throw any numbers out here when I don't have that information in front of me. So Cynthia, if it's okay, I might connect you with the admissions team, likely either this evening or earlier tomorrow, and see if they can kind of share some of that information with you so you can take a look through it in email format, if that's okay. I don't want to quote any numbers I don't have in front of me right now. Okay, is there funding available for this bootcamp? So we have financing plans available for the bootcamp, and then there's an early bird rate that's available right now. So it's available at a discount until November 22nd. And then outside of that, we just have finance options that are available. I believe there is external funding sources that have been successful for quite a few of our students. If you go to our website, if you go to circuitstream.com and click on the adult courses at the top and then choose the Product Management Bootcamp, scroll down on that page. I think there's some listings of some different financial resources there or funding resources that you could apply for that would help assist with the program. But even in addition to that, our admissions team can also answer anything like that for you too. They chat with people about these exact conversations all day, every day. So yeah, so if you want to, you could email admissions@circuitstream.com. But if you just want to take a look on your own first, just go to the CircuitStream website, find the product management course, and then just scroll down and take a look at the funding options that are listed there. Do product managers actually come up with the idea of a new product, or is that more the direction of the company or senior leadership? It's probably both, at least in the company I work for.
Yeah, it's a combination of both most of the times. Company senior leadership can give you something really substantial, like a big product, but then there could be so many different little tidbits in a product too that you can improve upon, and you can use data and customer research and insights and come up with your own ideas as well. So it's a combination of both.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I totally agree there. What are some product roles that you need experience? What are the product roles that you need experience in to get into product management? What are the product roles that you need experience in to get to product? Oh, so I read that wrong. So what roles should you start with to eventually get to a product manager, I think? And you had mentioned one earlier. Amandeep, you had said start off with a...
Yep, I mentioned associate product manager, but the titles don't matter a lot. Business analyst is also a really good title to start with if you are targeting IT. Project managers are different. Project with a J, that's a different role, and that is not always close to product management. Right? Project managers are more tuned towards the project and completing the project. So other roles could be program managers. Microsoft has program managers. Could be associate program managers also. Product owners are a great way to start product management as well. Product owner is a great role to start with. Even a junior product owner. If you get into it, you'll get real the most exposure in product management field.
Totally. And in addition to that too, I mean, I use it all the time now. I just think of it instead of Google, but ask ChatGPT for questions like that too, because it's a great resource. It'll be able to pull from a lot of information online and show you a bunch of different titles that you could kind of look out for in addition to what we had just said here. So, all right. How about I ask, what is the employment rate for those who complete the course, ignoring the titles as you say, employment rate for those who complete the course? So my answer is kind of still similar to what I had said earlier, Cynthia. I don't have stats in front of me for completion of the course and placement rates and things like that, but the team does here. So the admissions team could certainly provide more of that information for you. I know we have stats on a bunch of our boot camps, like the current ones we offer. We have even more in-depth stats for ones that have been running for a longer period of time. Like game development and design has been running for years. So we have quite a few cohorts that we can kind of give you placement rates on. For product in particular, we've got lesser amount of cohorts, but we can certainly provide you with that information. So again, I don't have it in front of me. So I'm not comfortable kind of providing you with that unless I connect you to the admissions team there. Patricia, what is the schedule? So I know there's some different time slots that are available for the course, I believe, but just overall, Amandeep, what was your kind of weekly schedule? What did that look like?
So I'm in Toronto, and the classes were Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6:30 to 9. Yeah, 6:30 to 9. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then every other week there was I don't remember the name. It's on a Wednesday. It's a lab basically where you cover where you cover the actual application. So you work on the application or software and learn that. That is every other Wednesday.
And then I think there's career labs that happen too.
Career labs happen once a month, I think. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I think once a month at the end of the month. Yep. Yeah. And then you can schedule one-on-ones also with your advisor.
Absolutely. Yeah. I forgot that part too. Yeah. But yeah, just for a regular week, it's usually a few hours, and it's Tuesdays and Thursday evenings kind of thing. Okay. Just a couple more questions here, a few more. Considering companies want a better bottom line and user-friendly product, does any part of the course focus on budgeting, ownership, or financing towards a product?
Financing towards a product? I don't think so. And I say that because at least I have not seen. As a product manager, it's not really your domain. Not 100%, don't quote me on this. It's more of a project manager's work to define the budget and the schedule and the timeline. But from a product perspective, you could be involved in budgeting, but no, I don't, as far as I can remember, their budgeting and the financing part is not covered. I could be wrong. I just cannot remember any chapter right now.
I don't think there's a chapter specific, but I think what you said previous is accurate. It doesn't necessarily, but within that too, it kind of depends on the company. If you're working for a smaller company, you might end up having to do some of that information. Whereas if you're working for a large company that's got a bunch of project managers in and other people that can kind of focus on budgeting and that sort of standpoint. So yeah, it really kind of depends on where you're looking and what sort of company you're looking to join afterwards. But William, if you want to take a look through the syllabus, it'll kind of cover all the different areas of the course. So there might even be some other areas that you're curious, like would it include this or, so the best thing to do is to go to the website and request the syllabus, or just email admissions@circuitstream.com. Say I joined, the information session, just curious what this would be like, and they can send over a syllabus for you so you can take a good look through the whole thing. So, and that gives you full in-depth of the whole course. And how easy was it to attain Sigma and SQL? Should additional research or courses be done before taking this program?
So it's Figma with an F, not Sigma. Yeah. But yes, no, the course does not require you to know any knowledge beforehand. Before the lab, for example, for Figma, the instructor will ask you to install Figma and create an account. But you're not required to have any knowledge beforehand. If you have it, that's perfect. But if you don't, that's fine. Just ask questions in the class. That is what the labs are designed to do. They are basically designed to start from scratch and teach you about what that application is about. SQL is a little bit different. SQL can be really vast. And product managers don't actually have to use SQL a lot, but also you don't have to have any prior knowledge on SQL. So that part is covered at a brief level in the labs.
Amazing. Yeah, I thought Sigma was a different program that I hadn't heard of yet. And I was like, oh, what's Sigma? And as soon as you said
if
Figma,
there is
I'm
one,
like,
I don't know. Sorry, I might have, I don't know either.
No, I think you're right. I think it's probably Figma there too. But, okay. And then what types of resources does the program provide to complete assignments or research? So as you're going through for each, is the formatting like in the sense that they would provide you with resources for it, or what does that kind of look like?
That is something that you can do during the class. So to do any kind of research, you actually don't have to have any resource. Google is your resource. But if you want to go above and beyond and do something like a user research or something, you want to reach out to actual people, you can definitely take the opinion of the instructor and ask him what is the best way forward. So after every class on both days, we usually got 10 minutes at the end to talk about the assignments. So we would just basically discuss the assignment, and if these kind of questions pop up and you want to ask the instructor on what is the best way of doing research, the instructor would be more than happy to help you on that one.
Yeah. And they might even have some suggestions sometimes. They
Yeah,
may say, hey, like this, you should also check this. It's not part of the course, but if you
definitely.
think of it, go read this or go check this out, sort of thing. So
Yeah.
um, okay. I'm currently a product designer, but can't get to the next level because of the lack of management and strategic part. How do you fill that gap? Would this course be enough? I'm currently a product designer, can't get to the next level. So it kind of depends on what you're looking to do. Because like product management and product design are quite different. I mean, you
Yeah.
are doing aspects of designing in product management, but it's probably a slightly different role, I'm assuming. But do you have feedback on that one, Amandeep?
You actually don't need to have any, like, it's product management, but it doesn't mean that you have to have management experience for product management. It's just product management, but basically you're in charge of the product. If you want to transition from a designer to a product manager, or basically just be in charge of a product, try expanding within your company, I would say. The strategic part is something that you learn on the job. It's not something that you come with. It's good if you know any of those things, but it doesn't really matter. It's just how you approach and how you start building your ideas and start presenting them on how b- basically interview questions, right? So I would say if you are a product designer, start with your company. You'll have more chances of getting into product management role within the same company as a product designer, because they can see what you have done, what you've accomplished. Maybe try to tie the knots with the product launch itself, like how you helped launch that product from a design perspective, right? So you did some design, that's why the product launched. And you did that design because you learned something about the product, right? You learned something about the user. That takes time, right? So bring all those, put your story together. Basically everybody has a story, so put your story together on how you did, what work you accomplished, and then approach that within your company and show what else can you do to fill that gap, and get into the shoes of a product manager.
I love the way you just put that too. Everybody's got a story. It's so true. True. I love that. Um, and yeah, this is a good example too, Patricia. Like if you're coming from a background with product design, you may actually be in a better position taking a course like this than somebody who has no product experience at all. And what I mean in a better position is you may qualify for career opportunities quicker than somebody who has no experience in product. So I would say this course would be a great opportunity for you. It's a way to kind of take your existing knowledge, combine it with some new knowledge, and based on what you're saying there, it's probably a way for you to look at advancing forward and kind of moving ahead if you're feeling a bit stuck where you're at right now, in product design. So
I agree. That
oh,
that was a great point. Yeah, I agree to that.
cool. And it looks like one more question here. So as you're working as a product manager, do you get to work directly with customers? Can you please share what your job role and duties are like? Yeah. So what's your like week to week look like at Air Canada?
So it depends on the company. Some companies would have a different UX department. Some companies would not have any UX department, and UX department is basically what the department that communicates with the customers, the end customers. But yes, as a product manager, you are expected to work with the customers, at least to understand or interview them on what they feel about your product. It could be as simple as sending a survey, or it could be as difficult as getting a group together on a call and asking them interview questions, right? So it basically just depends on your role, the company, how it does it. In our company, we have a UX department that takes care of this. I don't work with the end customers directly, but I tell the UX or direct them on what aspects of the product I need from the users. And then they design the entire thing, work with the customers, get back to us with the data, and then we use that data, consume it, and then decide what features could be that would impact the customers the most. But really depends on the company you are hired for.
That makes sense.
That's a good question.
That makes sense. And I think I just read in the chat, I think maybe we did miss a question here. Let me see. Oh, we did. We did. Do you need a portfolio, and what do you put in it if you haven't launched a product or app by yourself before?
A portfolio could be your accomplishments. Portfolios are more for designers, but if you're talking about portfolio from a product perspective, that would be more from accomplishments on what you launched or what impact did your work have on the end users. So it could be, if you haven't launched any product by yourself, it could be a collaboration that you did with some team. You can use that as to your leverage. And say you collaborated with, I don't know, sales or IT and worked on this product that eventually was launched. And I would say show the impact. Whatever the product or the feature is, the impact could be quantitative. It could be anything qualitative also. It could be it improved something, or it was something missing, or people are looking for something like that. Features are always impactful, right? So I would say tie the knots there. And show what you, if you have not directly contributed to a product, maybe it was a collaboration with something. So show that would really help. It's not always that one person is in charge of the product. We all collaborate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I think we had another one come in, but just a quick side note, we can hear the professional you are, Amandeep. You're inspiring. Just a little note that came in the chat there I wanted to share
Thank
with
you. I appreciate it. I don't see who said that, but yeah, appreciate you saying that.
I'd have to go back and look in a sec there. Do you learn analytics in this course?
Yes, definitely. Analytics is a chapter in itself. Product analytics and data-driven decision making is, I think, it's the chapter name. It's actually a really big one. So we do cover, and SQL is one subset of it. So I think there are like 5 or 6 different chapters. There's one whole unit dedicated on analytics, and analytics is something, somebody was asking about the financial aspect of it, right? So analytics is something that as a product manager you really would, that's your bread and butter every day. That's where the features come from. You look at the analytics, you see what is performing well, what is not performing well, and based on that you make decisions. That's all analytics. So yes, there is a chapter dedicated to analytics, and that's very interesting to go over.
Amazing. I think that's it. I'm just looking here at the side to see. Somebody asked, would the recording be available? Shadma, I don't think you're in the room anymore, but you will see this recording come to you afterwards. So if you've stuck around in the recording long enough to see me talking to you now, hello. Yeah, the recording will be sent out to anyone in case anyone else has that question too. But that's it, folks. Thank you so much for kind of joining the session here with us today, and for listening to us kind of talk about the course, me from the company perspective and Amandeep from the student perspective. We love having these sessions. I mean, I run these, a few of these a month for our different products, and always just kind of fun, different sessions. So feel free to check out circuitstream.com. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, there's an events tab there. I think we've got at least 1 or 2 more of the upcoming events listed. If not, check that page regularly. We will post upcoming events in there quite often. But a huge thank you to you again, Amandeep, for joining me today, for answering all of my questions that I'm throwing at you, and basically for just providing your experience to the audience. I know a lot of these folks here are probably really curious what your experience was like, and genuinely want to know what you've covered, and you know what you're kind of doing now, and if you found it beneficial. So your feedback here is invaluable. So thank you.
I'm humbled. Thank you for having me here. I hope I could help some of the students here. And yeah, hope you all get to what you're looking for.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks to the crowd for sticking around. We've got 12 people left in here now. It's starting to drop out. So everyone have a fantastic evening, and we will look forward to seeing you at the next event. Cheers. Bye, everybody.
Take care.